to say something about the system, about the School of Magistrates, to see our common points. And please just interrupt me if you have questions or things that you should clarify with yourself or among you. And I will give answers also not only for system of the school, but also for our judicial system, for the difficulties they are going to our system right now, and everything which is related to our judicial. Our School of Magistrates was established in 1997, so it is more or less 25 years since then. And it is an independent body governed by a board which is composed by different members of institutions. This board is chaired by the President of the Supreme Court, and members are a general prosecutor, director of the school, representatives of Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Education, two judges and two prosecutors, and then two students. So it is a big number of members, and is going on. This is going on since the beginning. The school, as I said, it is an independent body which has the independent budget. It is responsible for all things, all competencies that the school has. The school, the main two duties of the school are initial training and continuous training. Initial training means the training we offer for candidates, for persons who finished the school, who wants to enter in the school to become judge or prosecutor. And continuous training, it is related to judges and prosecutors on duty. We organize for them trainings in different areas of law, civil, administrative, or other field of law they feel interested to participate. The exam is based on two phases. One, it is the first one. It is very general exam, aiming to choose, to select the best candidates for the second part. The first exam is composed by is a mixture. The half of the exam is professional, but not so high professional, but in a very basic level. And the half of this exam questions are composed by every question, intelligent questions, historical questions, language, Albanian language questions, and so on. There are 5 parts composed by 10 points, each 10 questions. In total, there are 100 questions based on yes or no answer. And this exam is evaluated by the computer. So it's a very objective selection, let's say. So the winners of this first part goes to the second phase, which is very professional, very deep test, and composed by theoretical questions and practical work. So in sense of percentage, The second phase is based on, let's say, 70–75% practical, and what remains it is theoretical. So we want to identify candidates who are able enough, not only in a theoretical way, but basically in a practical issue, because you know very well that this institution, it is a practical institution, but it is not an academic institution in a very narrow sense of this word. But it is having such a duty to procure or to prepare judges and prosecutors, and not teachers or lecturers, whatever. So that's why the way we are testing the competencies or knowledge of the candidates is very focused in practical issues. At the end, the committee professors, the commission of professors who are entitled to evaluate the answers decides for the winners, and our board of our steering committee then declares the winners. And such a procedure ends in the middle of May. We have a time set up below. The middle of May we should finish this process, because when you start the academic year, which is the first Monday of October, from middle of May to October, the councils, High Council of Justice and High Council of Prosecutors have the duty, the obligation to verify who are the winners, in order to allow or not them to enter in a school. For your knowledge, we have a law on vetting, we call it vetting process, which is the main content of that law. It is verifying and testing the quality of judges and prosecutors. Quality is the sense of properties, the sense of moral integrity, and professionality. So these three main pillars, the candidates who are declared winners by the school are going through this process undertaken by High Council of Justice and High Council of Prosecutors to see what they are presenting. Are they adopt persons to become a judge or prosecutor? If they consider no, despite the fact that they are winners, they are not allowed to start studies in our school. And then when the school starts, we have 3 years system of the school. The first one is theoretical program. The main of our aim is proposed is to ensure that the students implement the competencies in order to resolve cases. So, if I make any proportionality for what we consider practical skills during the first year, I consider that around 75–80% of our project is very practical one. So, testing the students' knowledge is composed from 20%. This is our content of our curriculum. And at the end of this year, the students go through the exam process. It is a very, very common and custom experience. So it is nothing interesting to say about that. And then they go to the second year. On the second year, which is considered pre-professional year leadership, we have organized it in our curriculum in such a way. They are attached to judges or prosecutors for 3 days a week, and the other 2 days are at school. Those 2 days at school, we organized for them. One day we organized the mock trials. They have to select the case from the practice, judicial practice they are following, prepare all things by themselves, dividing in judges and prosecutors and lawyers and so on, organize everything. The professors have nothing to do with such a preparation, and then they demonstrate before them based on the type of law they are taking as a subject. The professor is criminals or administrative or civil one responsible for such matters, such as subjects. So they are evaluating the students during this process of mock trials. And then the other day, we make conclusions about the mock trial. And the most important thing then is to make differences between what we did in the school and what the judge does during his practice. Because you know very well, perhaps, there are many reasons that these differences is as such in place. Because there are interference during the practice. It's not quite easy to during the activity of judge or prosecutor to have the same approach as we have in the school. So the differences have to be discussed in order to educate the system with the fact that they should apply the law. The law is such that it is not any reason to overcome or whatever, to deviate the implementation of the law. So this is more or less what we did do during the second year. And at the end of the second year, all the professors evaluate the students in relation to what we do during these 2 days. And also there are evaluation from the judges and prosecutors based on the activity that the students have done when they prepare things for the judge, opinions, or memos, or whatever. And then we have the third year, which is completely apart from our competence. The students are appointed as a counselor to one judge or one prosecutor. We call this system the system of mentors, because there is up to judge to decide what are the needs of the student. So the judge should describe in a document what the student has to fulfill, what are the needs of the student, what is the focus of the training during this year, what are the weaknesses or the strong points of the students. So the judge has to have a very clear idea about the job during this year. At the end of of the year, the judge fulfilled we are prepared a formula where he puts the grades and evaluate the student according to what he has presented during such a practice. So, before finishing, I should say we prepare a list of students based on their grades, listing them from the best to the bottom, and send them to the High Council of Justice and High Council of Prosecutor, depend on how the students will become, judge and prosecutor. And then the council decide. The list of winners, the grades are a very good reason, according to law, a very good reason for the High Council of Justice to decide where the students, where the magistrates will work. The best graduated, the best place of work. This is a system which makes us important sense of having a very good competition even during the school among the students. So this is a very, very general way of describing what we will do during the initial training.
Experience of the process of writing of judges in your country, and if you can tell us something about that, and what you mean is that process, that experience successful in your country.
We in our country we have had. I'm not sure what was the time when this game has started, but we have had from years visible, very visible gap between the law and implementing the law, the standard of the law and implementing the law itself. So when we were discussing about judicial reform, we kept in mind that we have very sophisticated institution spread out in our system, whose competencies are clear enough to fight corruption, to ensure the equality of the people before the law, and to make sure that the check and balance system should function in a better. And then it was considered that the implementation of those laws are far away from the aim of the law and what the law has provided for. So I wanted to say with this introduction that at one point we considered at that period that our institutions are not enough to ensure that the quality of justice or giving justice, implementing justice, it's not in good hands. High Council of Justice was considered not fair enough to ensure the right career. So the institutions which had competencies and still have competencies to control the properties and interests of the judges and prosecutors were not able to develop their competencies, and so it was, and the system itself, it was considered not competent enough to self-govern or to make a self-control or self-clearance from bad things, corruption, influence from outside, different sources, political influence or influence of criminals or whatever, mainly corruption. So, since this was a common conclusion, we decided to set up this system of the foreign force and outsider to control the system. And the main pillars of the system are three. One is this very economical pillar. Controlling properties, the interest of the customers. The second is the profession of their professionality, controlling the way how they are working, controlling cases and so on. And the third, because a pillar of moral integrity, considering things, ethical issues, investigating if the judge or prosecutor have contacts with incriminated persons and so on. So these are the main issues. And the process started focusing mostly in 95% of the cases, focusing on its first pillar in corruption, let's say. And there are I am not sure about the statistics, but more than half of the judges and prosecutors are already dismissed. They are considering having not justified incomes, properties based on their incomes. So this of their goods, their properties, they are declared or not, and their incomes. So this is in course. Now, it is successful or not? I am one of the members that at that time worked with such a system. And I know very well the spirit, the aim of the establishing this system. It was not to see the activity of the judge or prosecutor in black and white. You know, it is very difficult for a judge. When you see the activity of the judge from outside, as a, let's say, as a professor, as a whatever, you have no possibility to enter in with boats. Let's say, we say, we have a phrase, to enter in these boats, because when he is giving justice, he is alone, giving pressure from everybody, from a neighbor, from father, from whatever, from a politician or from a criminal, from bribing them. So there is no easy way to say that he did something completely wrong, but otherwise. So the main aim of the system was to see the work of the judge in different point of view. If a judge has given a bad decision, you have to evaluate the decision first to see, identify what are the reasons that the judge gave such a decision, what are the influences make possible the bad decisions, what is other job of the judge. He has given a good decision or not. In a general point of view, to evaluate all things together, not in black and white, taking a decision and making a case with that decision. So we hoped at that time that evaluating a judge should take a long time, not immediately. Discussing all reasons that I mentioned, verifying in real time the incomes, the properties, the contacts that we have, the friendship that we have, and so on. So it's not. And now the Commission is working as established a practice, supported very strongly by international community, established a very different experience, very different approach. It is not. As I saw, as I see, as I have said, even in Albania, very differently from the purpose and from the spirit that the Commission who drafted the law and who discussed the law, the draft law at the beginning, had in mind. Okay, that's why I started with that. Differences between the law and implementing the law. But is it successful or not? And this is a very difficult question. It's much more harder because knowing our system, even today, I have the belief that we had no other way to change the system. The system itself, it was extremely closed, in the sense of not allowing good interventions, good spirit, making a corporate of conflict of interest, supporting corruption, and making no fair careers. And careers were based on corrupting and political influence. So seeing from this point of view, we had no chance to develop the system.
So in the presentation there is no age limitation for those participants who want to be magistrate. And in the requirements, I saw no age limitation, am I right or not? And I also saw that there is a 3 years experience requirement for the judges. Don't you consider this term of professional experience is maybe not too short? This is the two questions. And also the third one is about you said after the passing the old exams and this mental and psychological exams also, if the candidate is not involved in the list and approved by the council, he is not in the list. Yeah. Which are the reasons we lead to this decision to take it from the list? Which are the reasons of high councils of judge or name of organization? They are not, yes, council, if do not approve, they are not in the list. What the reason exactly could be lead to that situation?
Yes, we've had some cases. For instance, it was last year, it was a girl was declared winner, but her brother was in prison as a member of a criminal gang, a very dangerous criminal gang. So she won, because the exam is confidential. When we evaluate the results of the exam, we evaluate numbers. We don't know of whom this answer is. We evaluate number one takes 100 points, let's say, And at the end, when we declare the numbers, the results of the numbers, we identify what are the numbers, persons behind the number. So she won, and when the list went to the High Council of Justice and High Council of Prosecutors, High Council of Prosecutors, I think it was she won as in the list of the common prosecutors, dismissed her because saying that, according to the law we just talked, saying that the integrity of her does not allow or convince our counsel that she will become a good prosecutor because of his brother is in prison.